Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my antique booth sales for the month of April. So by the end of this video, whether you are a vintage reseller with an online store or if you sell in an antique store like I do, I hope that you'll have a good idea of some of the things that were really hot sellers for me in the month of April and some things that were not so hot. My sales for April were $525.51. This is after the store took their 10% commission off of every single item that I sell. So for April, it was a little over $500. And I think considering it was all smalls and no furniture, that was a pretty good month for me. So for the purposes of this video, I will start with some of my worst sales in terms of profit margin, and then I will save the best sales in terms of profit margin for the second segment of the video. And then at the very end, I have what I'm going to call a few strange occurrences that happened in the month of April. In my previous videos, I've called these honorable mentions, but this time I'm going to call them strange occurrences. So make sure that you stay until the end to hear all of the sales, both good and bad, and the strange things that happened in the month of April. All right, first up for the worst sales was this vintage gift wrap. I had 14 packages of this, and I just didn't have a good way to display it. So I'd had it in the booth forever. I finally put them out on my dining table in the focal point on the left side of my booth, and I sold one package for $3.60. When I'm giving you these sold prices, I'm giving you the price after the store took their commission. So it sold for $4, but I got $3.60 from it. I paid $1.07 with sales tax for each package, so the profit margin on that was 70%. After Easter passed and I sold that one package with the little bunny rabbits on it or Easter eggs or something, I decided to give all 13 of the remaining packages to my friend Debbie at the store because she has an Etsy shop, and I just figured they would sell a whole lot better for her on Etsy than they sell for me in the antique booth. Next up for the worst sales was a Beanie Baby. It was the Millennium Bear Beanie Baby. I paid $3.31 for this, and it sold for $9 for a profit margin of 63%. Now, recently I took all of my Beanie Babies out of the booth and brought them home because I wanted to research them. I basically sell all my Beanie Babies for $10. And if you go on Etsy and eBay, there's some crazy listings for prices on Beanie Babies, like in the thousands of dollars. But I watched some YouTube videos from other resellers, and they basically said that there are very few Beanie Babies that are really worth good money. And if they are valuable, they're going to be either first generation or second generation. And you have to know how to look for that. It has something to do with the way that the heart-shaped tag looks. And basically, what I was told by watching other YouTubers is that if you see a Millennium Bear Beanie Baby for sale for $19,000, like I saw on Etsy today, that could be money laundering or some type of other scam, and that it's not real. So anyway, I'm going to make sure that I don't have any first or second generation Beanie Babies, and then I will just put all of them back in my booth. Okay, the next worst sale was one of these Holland Trivets. The company is Delft, and I paid $3.31 for each trivet. I've only sold one or two of these, and I had a stack of them. I sold one in April for $14.60 for a 77% profit margin. Not great. Then I sold an enamel pot, and on the bottom it said Antiquities. This was the one on the right in this photograph. I paid $4.27 with the sales tax for this, and it sold for $16.20 for a profit margin of only 74%. I was so excited to find this Anne of Green Gables book set because it was during my spring refresh of my antique booth, and I was trying so hard to get bright colors and pastel colors that when I saw this, I bought it even though it was $8.65 with the sales tax. I only had it on the shelf for maybe an hour, and a customer walked in and she was like, oh my gosh, I read all of these when I was a little kid. And she wanted the whole set, and I gave her 10% off the price that I had put on there. So after the 10% off discount that I gave her, because she said she wanted to think about it, and I was like, I can do better than that. I'll give you 10% off of that if you want it. And then with the store's 10% commission, I only made $29.80 on the set of books for a profit margin of just 71%. I was still really happy about the sale though, and I was really happy that the customer was happy. And then I sold this 1980s Hinge jar with the rubber seal with fruit on it. This picture is not a picture of the one that I had because I don't have a picture of mine, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I paid $2.24 for it. It sold for $10.80. So that was a profit margin of 79%. Next up was this rice canister, and I'm not sure why I bought it because there wasn't a whole set of canisters. Actually, I do know why I bought it. I bought it because I just really liked the look of it. I just really liked the pattern and the decoration on it. So I paid $8.56 for this. I had it forever. I think I've had it for 3 years. It sold for $18 for a profit margin of just 52%. That was by far my worst profit margin for the month of April. Moving right along to my best sales for the month of April in terms of their profit margin. First up is this adorable set of Imperial glass Art Deco salt and pepper shakers. I put these in a thrift haul video. I was really excited to find these. They were only $1.17 for the set, and they sold for $21.60 after the store's cut for a profit margin of 95%. So exciting. I had 2 of these Queen Anne pewter mugs. They're really nice and heavy. They remind me of medieval times. And I was going to sell them as a pair, but I had a customer who came in and she just only wanted one of them. I had $36 on the pair, so we just charged $18 for just one of them. And now I have one left sitting there, and it looks kind of weird that there's only one left sitting there. So that's something to consider when someone wants you to break up a set. I would never do that with a set of salt and pepper shakers, but this is a little bit different, obviously. I paid $1.17 for each one of them, and one of them sold for $16.20 after the store took their cut. So that was a profit margin of 93%. So that was a great profit margin, but like I said, now I still have that one sitting there by itself. It doesn't look right without its mate. I love Fisher-Price toys, and this was a reproduction of a vintage cash register. The old ones will be made out of wood. So this one was like a year 2000 or something like that. And I paid $2.24 for it, and it sold for $14.60. That was a not too shabby profit margin of 85%. I bought so many pairs of brass candlesticks last winter that I'm not even sure which is which anymore. But here is a photograph of one set of brass candlesticks that I had in the booth. I paid $4.47 for this set, and it sold for $28.80 for a nice profit margin of 84%. I had a large collection of Williamsburg pottery. When I got my collection, it was just basically a whole set of it, a whole collection of it at Goodwill. So someone must have either donated their entire collection, or perhaps someone passed away or went to assisted living, and then their entire collection of Williamsburg pottery ended up at Goodwill. And it was just an awesome collection. I probably had 12 pieces of it, and it has slowly but surely been selling for me over the years. I sold a piece that I paid $3.31 for, and it sold for $18 for a profit margin of 82%. These pieces are just lovely, and I love them. Another thing that I'm just sort of slowly chiseling away at in my antique booth is my Corelle dinnerware. Now, these patterns were manufactured by Corelle to complement the Pyrex patterns. So I sold 2 dinner plates in the pattern Spring Blossom. I paid $1.49 for each plate, and they each sold for $9. So that was an 83% profit margin on these cute spring blossom dinner plates. Next up in the best sales department was this really pretty speckled stoneware soup mug. I paid $1.49 for it. It sold for $8.10 for a profit margin of 82%. I had an art glass zebra in my booth, and I don't have a photo of it, but it looks exactly like this one that I'm going to show you a photo of. My friend and I, who are at the store, we really tried to figure out if what I had was a Murano or not, and I think it was, based on the sticker on the bottom, even though the sticker was very worn. I paid just $3.21 for this gorgeous piece of art glass, and it sold for $34.20 for a profit margin of 91%. Super excited about this. Okay, so these were Dutch souvenir shoes, and I have them displayed with the Trivets, also from Holland, even though I didn't find them at the same time. The shoes are souvenir shoes. If you've ever tried these on, you'll know that they are very uncomfortable to wear. They were $1.17 for the pair, and they sold for $14.40 for a very nice profit margin of 92%. And finally, in the good sales category were these Apple salt and pepper shakers. They were unmarked. I don't think that they were any particular special brand. At least I couldn't find any that looked quite like them. They were only $1.49 for the pair, and they sold for $12.60, which gave me a profit margin of 88%. And finally, the long-awaited strange occurrences for April. The first is that I have these two hobnail green teardrop vases in my booth, two identical ones, and one of them sold. I still have the other. So I had put $16 on the price tag, and whoever was working the cash register that day put an X through the $16 and wrote down $6.50. And there was no phone call. No one called me to get an okay on that. So what that means is that the customer made an offer of $6.50 and that they didn't call me to see if that was okay with me. It would not have been okay with me because I believe I paid like $4 for the vases, $4 a piece for the vases. So the house rules at our store is that if a customer asks for a discount, you can, and you're working the cash register, you can give the customer a discount of 10% without contacting the antique dealer. And if the customer wants more than a 10% discount, then you have to call the person. And if you can't reach them on the phone, then you just say, sorry, 10% is the best that I can do. If the price tag is marked firm, then you can't offer any discount because that means the price is firm. Giving someone the vase for $6.50 when I had marked it at $16 is clearly a lot more than 10% off. So whoever was working the cash register that day messed up. So this was a strange occurrence because I think it's been 3.5 years that I've been at that antique store now. This has never happened before. So my only option would be to contact the bookkeeper and tell her about it. And she would have to look to see who was working the cash register that day. And then that person would have been deducted their next paycheck for the amount of money that they owed me. And I decided not to pursue this. Since it's never happened before, I just decided to let it go. I still have the other green one in the antique booth, and I'm sure that one will sell for either full price or just 10% off. So I'm just going to let it go, and I'm not going to worry about it. If it happens again, I'll have to revisit that decision. The next strange occurrence was that I had this Mikasa 1980s cream and sugar set in my booth for a very long time. Like I think 3 years again. I really liked the pattern. It just reminded me of the Golden Girls, their kitchen. So I had on the tag, I had written that it was a set and I was selling the set for $20. And so I get to my booth and I see just the creamer is on the shelf and the sugar bowl is gone. So I was like, oh no, I figured out what happened. Someone just bought the sugar bowl and thought that it was just the sugar bowl that they were paying $20 for, when really they were supposed to get both pieces for $20. So It was just a strange occurrence. The price tag was very clear that I was selling them as a set, and they should have gotten both pieces, and instead they only got the sugar bowl, and they paid $20 for a sugar bowl. So just a strange occurrence. Now I'm trying to sell the creamer, and I put a little price tag on it. I think I put $10 or $12 on just for the creamer, which will be a harder sell because it doesn't have its mate. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I was on this mission to get all these browns and beiges and amber glass out of my booth, at least for the spring and summer. And then I thought I can always introduce those colors back in the fall when they're more popular. And sure enough, I sold this brown and beige cream and sugar. I'll show you a picture here that I had in the booth forever. These colors, even though I like them, they're just not that popular. But sure enough, as soon as I started talking about taking things like this out, something sold. So now I guess I'm just going to leave all my browns and beiges in the booth and see what happens. This set sold for $21.60 after the store took their 10%. And the fourth and final strange occurrence was that a Christmassy mug sold in the month of April. I just love the retro pattern on this vintage Christmas mug. And it would have been a stackable mug originally. There should probably have been 4 of them. And I only had the one. It sold for $7. So after the store took their 10% commission, I got $6.30 for this adorable Christmas mug. Just thought it was kind of strange that it sold in the middle of spring. And I'm glad that I didn't remove it from the booth when I took a lot of my other Christmas stuff out. It doesn't take up a lot of room. And I thought it was just cool enough that someone would see it and want it because they thought that it was as groovy as I thought that it was. Well, thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you got some value out of it in terms of what kind of profit margin I was able to make in my antique booth during the month of April. Some of these items, as you can see, were pretty hot for me, and some of them were just sort of duds. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. My next videos coming up are probably going to be more thrift hauls, and I will also take you on a tour of my antique booth very soon. See you then.